Da tror jeg vi recording også.
We are recording.
Yay. So, yeah.
So if somebody is cording, then they do it again. It's recording, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So hi everybody. Today we're only 3 people. And welcome to this.
I'm recording.
And recording. That's perfect. And welcome to this week's Zoom about setting goals. I have to admit that I really love this idea, and it was really fun to make the last week's Zoom about procrastination. And I also want to thank everybody for all the feedback. It was really cool. And I think
it was really nice to. Sorry, it was really nice to do the first one on procrastination to get that out of the way.
Yeah, of course. Then we did it, right? I think that's. I think you're like talking about me now because I all the time do that.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, we do it next week then. But if you miss it, then we can repost it, right? So it will be like higher up on the group, and they can watch it all over again. So and before we kick off this guide, I just want to encourage people to join in the panel. It's not so scary. I have to admit that last week I think I was a little bit afraid for doing this the first time, but we had some good help. Today Signe Marie is not here. I haven't heard from her, but we are
Guy was a little bit afraid last week. I had a chat with him. I called him up and I told him it would be okay. He was worrying about it all week. I said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, Guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was scared shitless. Now, I'm envious that you're scared or were scared last time, because I really miss that type of feeling, going into or onto stage or into the TV studio or whatever. I wish I was scared, because it becomes less flat emotionally when one does that. It's more like spiky and zesty and all of that. So I really wish I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you got this idea about the goal thing because I sort of touched on that the last time.
I have to put you a little bit on hold, because that was my I was going to talk about that actually. So because first of all, I want to just encourage people to join, because now we're only 2 people and me. So I think it's scary, but I think it's important to because this is a group that you made that is helping others. So you don't have to be a coach or something to join. You just have to share your ideas that will help other people, right? So
of course, I mean you don't have to be a coach to help the old lady across the hallway carrying in her groceries or any type of help. It's just a matter of being empathetic and help other people around you. It doesn't have to do anything with your professional life or being a coach or anything like that.
Of course, but does they know who we are in this group, everybody? Because my name is Catherine, and I have the amazing guide who founded this group. Do everybody know that it's you? Maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, I just 1 week ago, I just started this group helping without thought of reward on Facebook, and invited a lot of friends, and then friends invited friends. I think we're almost 700 people in this group right now. So it's growing, and it's fun to see what people are posting, and it's quite inspiring to see other people's viewpoints also when they comment on other people's posts, and there are all kinds of stuff happening in this group. It's cool.
Yeah, and we had a lot of great feedback, so I think this is really helping people. And the other one now on the panel is my crazy neighbor, Brandon.
Oh, yes, hello.
With emphasis on crazy, I would say.
Sorry.
But this is this is good fun. We had a nice talk last week, and I agree. We can bring anybody onto this panel. It'd be really nice. Anybody that actually that's afraid of going on a panel, that's in a job, that's thinking everything is moved over to remote Teams or Zoom calls, and they don't like doing it. They can practice with us. I mean, we're not scary guys, so we've no plan for what we're going to say here today. So just jump in and practice.
Yeah, and you know, it's just like I said with another post I did, is say, you know, people can also practice rehearsing a presentation and just tape it and put it on the group, and they will get positive feedback on that. So there's a lot of ways you can practice stuff, and practice being in a panel is a good thing, and practice being spontaneous. You can be in this panel because you never know what's going to happen anyway. So we just wing it, and with the overall sort of theme of now setting goals, and last week procrastination, but beyond that we don't prepare, and we just launch ourselves into it. And if you want to join that, that would be really cool.
I
So
think
anybody can join.
yeah, anybody can join, and I think that's what you're saying, that is really true, because Brandon and I really had to stop you like last week. We were like, no, this is the next Zoom meeting. You have to like stop. We will do this next time. So I think
Right, that was on the calculators. That when he started talking about his calculators, it's like, no, stop. When he gets going on his calculators, he just never stops. So it's like, we'll do that next week. Do that next week.
Yeah, I wish you said that. You know, we'll do the calculators next week.
Yeah, we can have we can plan the calculator one in a couple of weeks, okay? And we'll build up that. We'll actually pay people to attend for that one if you want.
That's going to be a monologue. Yeah.
Yeah, but so Gary, you can start where you stopped. I mean, you can just continue now. You had some ideas about like talking about setting goals. I know that probably not the same as I feel about setting goals, because I'm a real planner. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, then we're probably on the opposite side of the spectrum, because I used to be like really structured. I used to be like completely perfectionist, OCD, and really put down all the stuff I want to do each day. Had to-do lists and put this into a structured type of software that I even created, graphing how much I did every day in a beautiful graph. This is something I did in the 90s. You know, when I launched myself into programming for real on Windows, I created this beautiful task tracking program that I used every day. And I was so structured. In that company, we were the only recruitment company, headhunting company in Norway that did ISO 9001 certification. We mapped all our processes. Everything was like ultra structured. And I know Brendan doesn't know me like that, because everything, or a lot of things, has changed since that time until I met Brendan in 2007. But in the beginning, when we started working together, there was a lot of structure in the company that I owned that Brendan was then joining in 2007. There was plenty of structures, and after that, I sort of started loosening up, and then I swung the pendulum over to the other side of the spectrum, I would say. And now I'm really skeptical about setting goals at all. And I'm really skeptical about focusing. Because people have been told all their life that, yeah, you have to set goals and you have to focus and you have to really reach for the stars, and maybe you reach the clouds or some kind of stuff like that. And everything becomes very American in that, hey, yeah, Tony Robbins, set the goal and do, you know? That kind of thing. I'm very skeptical about that, because there is always a trade-off, and people don't think about the trade-off. This is the problem. So when you set a goal and you focus on that goal, your vision becomes very much zoomed in on that, right? And there are benefits to that, obviously, because there is a higher chance that you might reach that goal. But the negative side is that maybe that goal in 3-4 months is not the goal that you should have. So focusing puts the blinders on, and you have very little peripheral vision. So if there comes a huge opportunity in from the side, and you're like, no, get away. I'm focusing on this goal. And there comes this fantastic opportunity for something really interesting in life. And you go, no, get away. I'm focusing on this goal. And this is what happens with people also when they are top athletes. People go like, yeah, gold in the Olympics, bang. This is the thing that you focus on. And then everything in life sort of goes out of view, and you focus on this, and your friends get sort of discarded, and your family gets discarded, and everything get put on hold just because of this gold in the Olympics. So there is a downside to goals and focus, and that is that opportunities that might arise around you, you get blinded towards those. And maybe that's not what you really want, right? There is this old lady in the subway that tries to talk to you, and you brush her off because you're reading this book and that's part of your study to become a master in something. But that old lady opened an life or opportunity for you if you would just shut up and listen. But all these opportunities that we sort of disregard is only because we focus on things. So I'm gearing towards being more in the present and just being in the present and taking in what comes of opportunities, more than actually setting the goal and focusing on something. But I'm open to doing both. I'm just not that single-mindedly focused on the goal and focus anymore, because I think there is real downsides to that people don't think about.
What about you, Brendan?
I think we can just throw a couple more questions at Guy, because I think like one of the questions that I think a lot of people will jump in on is, so what made that difference? Because you said like, 20 years ago you were this structured person, and now you're like free and wing it and stuff. But what happens? Is that something called experience? Is it something called age? What actually happened?
I also want to put something in, because it's like when you said also like 20 years ago, it's like that's the way almost that I'm raised. I'm almost like raised like I have to like focus on what I want to be or what I want to become, or how I want to live my life. That's like some kind of goal that I have to aim for, like be the best me or something. If you understand what I mean about that, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then is a difference of people trying to become the best you, or the best themselves, or just simply be the best yourself. And the only way to be your best yourself is to actually be here and now, not being the future and trying to figure out what to become. It's rather just be it. I get some people pinging in on my screen here saying they can't get into the meeting. Do you have people knocking on the door there?
I don't have any knocking on the door. I only have me. Is there some problems then, maybe?
It seems like there could be a problem, because I got one guy who is a calculator geek that just messaged me and say can't get into the meeting.
Okay, I can invite him to the meeting if you can do like go to the message board and maybe ask him for his email or something. Then I can.
Oh, that's gonna be hell.
Oh shit, I don't know.
And I'll tell you why, because I'm not on my PC, I'm on my cell phone, and it's just going to be 10 minutes later, and etc. So I guess we'll just
I really don't see him here. I only see us two and nobody knocking on the door.
No, that's fine. We'll just keep going, and I'll talk to him later.
Okay.
And I think there was another one coming in as well, but that doesn't matter. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
But you know, being the best you is not something that will become. It's not something in the future. It's something that happens right now, if you just let it be. Because people tend to, you know, the opposite of being here right now is being either in the past or in the future. Now, being in the past is obviously idiotic, because that's something you can't change at all. So being stuck in the past is completely unproductive. Now, being stuck in the future is not as productive as being here and now, because being in the future, you tend to think that this is the right thing for me to reach, or this is how it should be, or this is my expectation, or this is my goal. But the problem is that you're basing that goal on what data you have right now. But between right now and you reaching the goal, there's a lot of stuff that will happen. A lot of more data is coming in that will definitely shape your goal, but it will not do if you're stuck in that goal right now. So let's say you say, I'm going to be a biathlete, shooting, skiing, and that is your goal right now. Now, that might not be what you really want in 10 months, but you're so adamant in reaching that goal that you don't even stop and think what you should be, rather than being a biathlete. So being here and now and always being the best you means it will take you different ways, and not maybe as you were expecting 10 months ago, or 5 years ago, or 50 years ago. So this idea about setting goals and going for them is based on the data you have now, which is a huge lack of data, because there is enormous amount of data between now and when you reach your goal. if I'm making sense.
Yeah.
At least it's very clear in my head. But Brendan, you had a question regarding what
Yeah, it was.
changed?
I'll ask a question that probably when people are watching this, I think they'll come up and it would be like, so what changes? I mean, is it only age that when people get older, they're like more of a bit like, yeah, fuck it, goals don't help that much anyway. I just got to go with the flow after a while. Is it something happened to realize that, oh, look at the opportunities missed in life because I was too focused? What do you think? Like possibly for you, but what's most people that they move away from goals to let's just live?
It's very, very gradual to me. And one thing that actually did change it a little bit was when I was a radio show host. And I used to do a radio show called Midnight Magic in Oslo. And it was role playing on the air. So we did Dungeons and Dragons type of fighting with dragons, etc. on the air. So people would call in for 10 minutes going through an adventure that we created. And they had to, talk to the troll under the bridge and barter with the dwarves in the mountains and the elves in the woods, etc. So this type of interactive role-playing game on the air was quite fun. And in the beginning of this program, or in the beginning of the series, we did this for 3.5 years. And in the beginning, we planned everything. We sat down for a whole freaking day, and 8 guys planning every single thing. If the guy talks to the troll and says this, what is the troll going to do then? And if he attacks the troll, what does the troll do? And we wrote down everything, like huge story. And at the end of the 3.5 years, we just winged it. We just bought a hamburger, sat in the studio, and the show started. We had no idea what we're gonna do. And then we said to the technician, put on a 7-minute music track and we'll figure out what to do. And then we just sat down and went, okay, so what do? We do pirates? Yeah, let's do pirates. Oh, you're on the pirate ship and you're going to take another pirate ship and rob that other pirate ship and you're gonna take that into the pirate's cave and blah, 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 something. And we just winged it a lot more. And those programs were rated much higher than the really well planned out programs, because we had a following of like 50,000 people following the program. And it was a huge, big deal in the early ages of local radio stations in Norway. We had like people going black market trading of the programs on cassettes in the street, actually. So it was rated a lot. And the later programs were rated much higher than the previous programs. So this got me to think that being good at winging it requires that you practice winging it, and then it becomes better than when it's planned.
I know that over the last 15 years, that like sometimes I just like throwing myself into workshops, into courses, into meetings, and now we're getting people coming in here. It's really nice. Maybe people can get their cameras on. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but
that's cool. Let them come. We'll see what happens. But Brian's here. Brian can maybe turn on his camera if he has one.
And we have Harry.
Yeah, sure.
Hey. So I found out that this is another ID. So Brian's ID is working. So we just need to get that ID out to the other people. And because there is a line of people not getting in. So I will just post that on the group.
Thanks. And we have the one, the only, the amazing Victoria. Yes.
This is like learning by doing. I know this is.
Victoria might have a camera. It's not turned on, but she's lost her microphone. Yeah. Hello, Brian. Good to see you. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. So what sort of animal is that behind you?
It's a chicken.
And what type of chicken is that?
In Norway, we call them silkehøns. It's a Chinese breed originally, I think. Yeah, and as you can see, they don't have normal feathers. Looks like they have fur, but it is feathers.
I was thinking it was kind of a dog or something, but
no, it's a chicken.
Hello, Harry.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there we have Harry, the calculator geek.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So Harry, we're going to have a special episode on calculators, which is going to be at 3 a.m. Norwegian time in a couple of weeks.
oh,
then Harry and me is definitely going to be there, and the rest of you guys are going, no, we just sleep through this, forget the alarm.
So we've been talking, I don't know if you guys followed from the outside, we've been talking about goals a little bit. And this idea of what happens over time.
Yeah, and you will be able to see this obviously when we post it, and then you will see everything that you that you couldn't follow when you didn't get into this this Zoom meeting. But you know, I'll say another thing that you know, Tiri Lekov, the biathlete, she is in the group, and she'll probably hear this, and it will be interesting to hear her take and comments on what I'm saying now, because I've been working as her mental trainer for 7 years now. And we have been talking about setting goals, and the first goal was the Olympics in Sochi, and then it was the Olympics in South Korea, and then it's been World Championships, that has been the goal, etc. And the funny thing happened last year when we were planning for the season, and the whole season was sort of, it should sort of accumulate to the point of her doing really well in the World Championships in Anterselva. And everything was geared towards that, and which she was so pumped up. She wanted to really do good in the World Championships. And for some reason, she did really well before the World Championships. She won a lot of World Cup medals, gold medals. And I think she did 6 or 7 World Cup wins, where she had 6 World Cup wins in the totality of her career up until the last season. She outperformed her whole career when it comes to World Cup in one season. And she didn't have that as a goal. And then came the World Championship, and she totally flopped. It went straight down the drain. It went horribly wrong. But because of the World Cup wins, she actually ended up as the second best biathlete after Virer during the whole season. And if she had done slightly better in the World Championship, she would actually be number 1. Now, the thing with this is that what she actually aimed for, the goal of the season, completely flopped. What she didn't have as goals, completely, she smashed it. She became an enormous success. So this also put this into perspective, that she aimed for something, she didn't make it. What she didn't aim for, she just was completely relaxed, shoulders down, and she just was here and now performing. So it might be that this is transferable to other places as well. If you just are completely here and now, completely present, taking in whatever comes, and being, letting all the possibilities and all the opportunities come in, and then just digest that without any preconceived ideas, because setting a goal is a preconceived idea. It is something you're stuck in at least a little, you know, otherwise there is no focus. The focus in itself is a preconception. It's an idea that this is what I want to reach, but this is not necessarily what you want to reach. It's what you wanted to reach when you set the goal. That might change if you let it. And it might change because it's good that it changes. So this idea that, oh, I didn't reach my goal, but that was a goal that you set 2 years ago. Is it really what it's, is that really you now? Really? So I'm skeptical about setting goals, and I'm definitely skeptical about focusing at all in life.
It would be really cool to interview, because she has like, how many people around her? About 20, 25? I mean, like preparing skis and preparing everything that has to be in place. At least. But it would be good to interview them on exactly this same question. Like, because those people are, for me, some of the most, if you hear them speaking, it's like they're some of the most goal-focused people you can hear. It's like any interview is, this is our goal this season, is this and this and this and this. And that might play into the factor as well, that maybe they weren't.
Yeah, and it's interesting because all through, especially through sports, you're drilled to the point where the goal setting is the thing. You always set the goal. But you know, when everybody's doing that, it's hard to see what would happen if you didn't, because nobody is not doing it.
exactly. We don't have any control group around this, which is a real pity. Of course, that we would be really good to have nice control. Well, another thing is the Liverpool Football Club had this goal for the last 30 years of winning the English Football Championship in the league, and they won it. But as soon as they reached their goal, anybody that follows football will know what happened, that they totally collapsed and everything. The last 10 games went totally downhill. They lost almost every game they were playing. And it's this idea, but they reached their goal. But the last 10 games, they were terrible. It was like really bad. And I wonder if that is something said. Now we've reached our goal. Oh, now we can just switch off. Which also is like this strange side effect as well.
Yeah, and it's strange that, I asked Tiril once, how long does the feeling of proudness, the rush of winning an Olympic gold, how long does that last? And she was like, yeah, maybe 3 days. And it's like, and you work for 25 years of your life, and you get to the point where you get a goal, and it's like, yeah, that was 3 days. It's like, yeah. So I don't know how she would feel about that now. It would be interesting to hear her comments on this. But it's if you're into that goal setting thing, that setting goals is important for you, or you believe that is the right thing to do, then at least the least thing you should do is, when you get to the point where you're closing in on that goal, then you should be very quickly looking for the next goal, because otherwise this will happen, which Brandon is talking about. Liverpool reached a goal and then collapsed.
Yeah, but also, also cavemen, like early cavemen, maybe, hopefully, I have no idea, like, were they really goal focused? Were they really like, fuck, fire? Did you see that? We call that fire, okay? Did you see that? Like, we got to do something, like, we got to pull ourselves together and do something with that. That stuff can keep us warm. We can do stuff with that fire. Like, maybe we had the most crazy goal-minded, but we had a control group, and these control group were called apes, but they decided not to use the fire. They decided not to use tools, and they've pretty much stagnated and stayed where they are. But I don't know. It's like it's interesting to think about what would happen up through history if we didn't have crazy goal-minded people. But like what we imagine would be goal-minded people. Like putting people on the moon was this huge goal. Would they have put people on the moon if they didn't have the goal to put people on the moon? Or would Elon Musk put people on Mars inside 4 years if he hasn't got this goal of, I'm going to put people on Mars inside 4 years? Does that help him? And what would happen if he wasn't as goal-minded as he is? I think that's like, again, we don't have this control group, or we don't have 2 Elon Musks or 3 to test with.
But we do have personalities throughout the history that has definitely not been that goal focused. There has been people who have, Nikola Tesla maybe is a good example. It's like, I don't know, 1,200 patents or some crazy number, and he was basically playing with a lot of these things, and he was just having fun during most of his research. And you have similar people throughout the history who has not been focusing on a specific goal, but just chasing whatever thing they were looking at, because it's pure interest, pure fun, pure, it's a drive that comes not from setting a big goal, but just because this is fun, I'll try this. And I think Isaac Newton was similar in a way, Albert Einstein in a way too. And certainly some of the mathematicians during the early 1900s were also focused on just, what is this thing I need to find out, not I will make this goal happen. And I counter one thing with Elon Musk. The only reason why he needs us to have a planet B in case we fuck up Earth is because people have been so focused on making money, so goal and business focused, that they rape the planet, taking all the resources like oil, like coal, like, everything that fucks up the planet is based on the idea that you really need to have a goal and being rich. So he's utilizing the same idea, having goals, because other people had the goals, very narrow-minded, very egotistical before him. Maybe if we all were just doing stuff that is fun, maybe we didn't have to have a planet B.
I think it's true. People sometimes describe me as being like, I have a lot of goals, or very goal directed or something, but it's like very low on the list. The only thing I do is I find something that I like to do, and I just go crazy just doing that one thing, which is I do a lot of 100-day projects. So I just find something that I don't even know if I like it. I just find something that, yeah, this could be something. So 100 days of Rubik's Cube, what would happen if I just do Rubik's Cube for 100 days? So people say, yeah, but that's a goal. But it's just like the goal is curiosity, just like what would happen with the Rubik's Cube and what would happen with me if I do the Rubik's Cube for 100 days. What happens if I jump rope for 100 days? I have no idea. So, and the goal is very loose, but it gets back to this. The only thing that I'm going to do today is just make sure that I jump rope or take a cold shower or do the Rubik's Cube or run. It's sort of just like back to every single day.
And back to my previous career of being in the recruitment business, you always, when you read books about recruitment, you see that the questions in the interview should be where are you in 5 years? What is your goals in life, etc. And you're trained as a recruiter to value positive answers to that. If the guy has a very clear idea where he is in 5 years and he has life goals and everything, then yes, that's check, check, check. He's a good candidate. Let's go with him. But now I would more value a person who says, I have no idea, but I'm sure I will have a lot of fun in the next 5 years, and it will take me somewhere, I'm sure. But I'm always willing to adapt. I'm always willing to take the next opportunity, and I will make sure that that opportunity also serves the purpose of my job and hence the business I'm getting recruited into. I'll rather have that person than a person who has a very egotistical, clear goal and where he wants to be, right?
I wonder how many people
that person is hard to actually mold. So
I wonder how many people that we could get to admit that they can stop up and say, 5 years ago, I sat down and I made all these crazy goals. And right now I made it. And I wouldn't have made it if I didn't sit down and make those goals 5 years ago. I don't think we could find those people. I don't think we could find them that could say, I'm exactly where I am because that I sat down and was very goal-minded. I think I think the value of sitting down and doing this exercise isn't so high as it's made out to be. It's the typical get-rich-quick scheme. It's the typical consultant. It's the typical, this is how you achieve whatever you want to achieve, success in life or something. You got to know what you're aiming for. Yeah.
I'll bring in something that Brian knows a lot about. And I was at a customer's place where they had this process that they had mapped out on an A0 page on the wall. And that process was incident management. It's like in IT, when shit hits the fan, when something is not working, there are certain steps that they wanted to take, find out, talk to the user, find out the exact problem, and there is certain steps. And this was a very detailed, elaborate process with a flow chart that spanned an A0 page, small letters. It was like 200 boxes, decision boxes, and everything on this paper. And he showed me this and said, this is our incident management process. And I looked over this and read not all of them, but a lot of these boxes. And I said, wow, that's impressive. When did you make this? And I said, yeah, 2 years ago. Ah, cool. So how many incidents type of, shit hits the fan do you have in this company every year? And he said, about 30,000 per year. That's a big company, And I said, so that's 60,000 incidents that has gone through this process. Now, how many of those actually followed the whole process? Every single bit and pieces of this process. And he stopped up and his face started reddening. And then he started scratching his head and he said, I don't think there is a single one. I said, okay, so you had this preconceived idea, this goal, this focus, this is the perfect process for you. And 60,000 incidents later, not one single of them has gone through the process. That is amazing. That is so totally fucked up. So how do you manage? If this is the perfect way of doing it, you must be a train wreck by now. No. We're doing actually quite well. Why? Well, people use their common sense. People are competent, so you can actually tear this process down the wall. It's beautiful to look at, but it doesn't serve any purpose, right? Interesting.
Mr. Brian, give us a comment. Turn off your mute.
Okay. Well, I agree. You don't. I remember back in 2011, I think, when Geir and Brendan helped me with building a support organization, and I remembered the example of the receptionist in the hotel. I don't know if you remember, but I remember, because she or he will get all kind of questions, and you can't make a process for how she or he should answer every time. So you need to use your competence and your mind on how to figure out. If I go to a hotel and ask where the closest clothes store is, you can't have a process for each of these questions. And I like that, and I think you drew it up as a rectangle where you have all the questions coming in, and then you have the answers out in the other end. And that,
yeah, I do remember that, because in most of the service type of jobs we have, there's a huge variable called people that comes in front of you. And then if you have like no variable, you only have like car parts coming in, and there is another car coming out at the other end. There is no variation. There is this much aluminum, this much glass, this much rubber, etc. Then you can create a car with complete control and complete automaticity. But if you have this variable called, freaking human beings in front of you, then everything goes haywire, because people tend to say shit that you couldn't completely figure out, or, there's no way you can sort of pre-map this thing at all. So you have to have competent people who can wing it in service business, and especially in hotels and in restaurants, etc. Being a waiter is a very unpredictable job. All of a sudden, the person starts spewing whatever, is throwing up in front of you, or the person gets an allergy reaction, or they started quarreling and getting divorced in the middle of the restaurant. There's all kinds of stuff happening. And if you're not able to wing it, if you have OCD, that you have every process mapped out on beforehand, you will fail as a waiter. Now, most IT people in IT, tend to be focused on the process, because they have less experience dealing with humans. And that is, just for me, I'm talking about myself now, I was such a geek that I tended to shy away from people during my youth. And therefore I got so bad at handling people, because I didn't have the experience and the practice like Brandon. He was like, picking up girls and fucking around, etc. I wasn't, because I had no chance of picking up a girl until I was 18 years old, because I was so focused on my mathematics and astrophysics and all of this. So I was so bad at handling people. And that's just because I was out to practice. So IT people tend to be out of practice when it comes to people. And therefore they have this idea that, oh, we just map down every process, everything will be fine. If we just have this goal and this plan and this blah, 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 everything will be fine. And then you drop a person in front of them and they go, oh, what? Did you say what? That's nowhere in the process. Don't have an answer for that. So good IT people, really good IT people, should also open up their eyes and see that, there is a variable called people in front of them that cannot be mapped. You cannot map everything, as you say, Brian.
But I do think that it's important to have some kind of process to ensure that you can track all your incidents. So I'm not, I don't like the idea of using, a paper to write everything down. You need a form so you can track it and search it and learn.
Yeah. I think the best approach is to have tools that helps, but never tools that get in the way of creativity, or tools that get in the way of servicing people. So if you have automated documentation tools, automated graphing, automated whatever, then it's good. But it should never take away from the human empathy, creativity, spontaneous, wing it, and service.
Agreed.
So you have to sort of divide those two things. Things that should be automated should really be automated. things that really can't be automated, like creativity and artistic quality and all of these things, you shouldn't attempt to even automate it, because if you do, you take away those things which are close to the human heart and the emotions, and because then you tend to fuck up service.
It reminds
There are
me
two
of
domains.
It reminds me of this John Lennon situation where the teacher asked the young John Lennon, the 10-year-old in class, what are you going to be when you grow up? And John Lennon says, happy. And the teacher said, I don't think you understood the question. To which he replied, I don't think you understood the answer.
Yeah, exactly. And life is what happens to you when you're busy planning other things. Also,
I mean,
John Lennon quote.
one of the getting back to this on goals, one of the things that we've done recently, me and Guide, is that we've started a new company called Or Gaming, and it's about gamers playing PlayStation and Xbox and computers and stuff. And the boss of the okay, I just jumped back, like in a different scenario 20 years ago. We would have got the most goal-minded person to lead this company. We probably would have mapped out exactly what we want them to do and what we want them to achieve. But this company is being led by a very special guy. He's called Nicholas. He's Guy's oldest son. And we were sitting at the cafe at a shopping center, and we said, okay, so you're the boss of this company, and just do something cool. Just whatever it is, just do something cool. I don't know, just figure something out that's cool to do and sort of do that. I don't know, just figure it out. It's like go along and meet cool people and do cool stuff. That should be okay. Like just do more of that. And that's how we started that company.
And we actually registered that company today. So, and Niklas is 21 years old, and he is now the CEO of this company. And the goal of the company is to have fun, but it has to do with gaming. It has to do with maybe putting a team together in Rocket League that will reach the Olympic Games. That would be cool. Or maybe if something else is cooler along the way, we'll do that instead. But, you know, that is an inspiration at least. So we're looking for inspiring things to do with gamers. Doing mental training for gamers would be really cool. Getting a young girls team in Somaliland, which is good in League of Legends, that would be really cool. Or getting, you know, something that inspires people that takes it to the next level, wherever that is, would be really cool.
So I have a comment that I think Brandon knows this, but it's almost like personal value, or many companies have like this value instead of directions. I have arranged like big Halloween shows for the neighborhood, and it doesn't matter how we do it. It's like the kids are going to have fun. That's my value. I want the kids to have fun. It doesn't matter what happens, or if we have the right, because I have a zombie land or whatever out there, but the values that I put in is like the main goal.
Exactly. And that is precisely, you know, that is straight to the point here, because Bren has talked about this Halloween party that you put together, and he's been raving about it. He says it's crazy cool, and the kids are having so much fun. So and if that is the goal, if the goal is to have somebody have fun or inspire people or lift a person, or, you know, that type of thing, that's good. But if the goal is that specific concert that I'm going to hold in 10 years because blah, 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 then maybe along the way, 5 years from now, I might not be interested in making music anymore. Maybe I'm interested in being a writer, but I'm sort of stuck with this concert I need to hold in 5 years. Then I'm letting down my interest in writing books, which might have been much more fun, but now I'm sort of a straitjacket slave to my own goal thing, which I made 5 years ago. But the general goal of making fun for other people, not making fun of other people, but making fun for other people, it's a great thing to have. And it's not so far into the future that you're sort of stuck with it. And that's also an important thing. So the Halloween party is an excellent example.
And it's also linked up to, again, this company with Niklas and the gaming. the fun, because I took like in 2011, I took a Norwegian team. We were 14 people, and we played in table football World Cup in France, this football, table football. And once we had finished the tournament, it was a huge letdown. So, and if I was going to do it all again, I would have enjoyed, I'd try to make sure that I'd enjoyed the process 100 times more, because the goal is never the real achievement. The achievement is looking back and saying, that was really cool, fun putting that together. It was like, the goal is not finishing school. It's the years in school of the ups and downs, the swings, the fights, everything that when we look back on, that's what's cool, not the goal of achieving something. I think that's what a lot of athletes achieve when they're on stage or on the podium. It's like, yeah, it was the last 10 years, it was the last 5 years, the last 25 years of doing something, that passion of doing something that brought the real enjoyment, not the actual result of doing it.
Yeah, because what happens if you're so focused on the gold in the Olympics, is that you forget to enjoy the journey there. You sort of put all your eggs into this basket called, I'm so much going to enjoy the gold. That's the only thing I'm going to enjoy. And then you forget to enjoy the 10 years of really cool, being a top athlete type of life that you live for 10 years. And then you have 3 days of enjoyment because you got the gold. It's a really big letdown. The same is, oh, I'm so much going to enjoy when I get this house, or I get this girlfriend, or I get this way of life, or I get to this job, or I become the CEO. Then I'm really going to be enjoying myself. And then you forget to enjoy yourself all along the way until you get there. And when you get there, it's never like you imagined, because you imagined the goal 10 years ago, and then you didn't have the data, the full set of data, to really understand what being a CEO in that company actually entails. So all the goals you make is based on lack of data, because there is a gap between the data that you have when you create the goal and when you reach the goal. So you never know what will happen when you reach the goal, because you never reach that goal. So
it's also like people trying to lose weight. If I hit that weight, then I'll be happy. Something in the world, then I'll be happy, and I'll be really happy. But I mean, you can definitely reach that weight. That's no problem, as long as you don't forget to have fun along the way.
And I think that Geir made this point actually quite also clear, like on the last week Zoom, because he made like this comment about the nirvana state, that it's short time for achievement something, or we procrastinate it because we don't like it. So I think this is quite linked up to each other, the setting goals and procrastination, if you don't like what you're doing.
Exactly. Let's pretend you have a person who says, okay, I'm setting this goal of being a lawyer. That's okay, my dad is a lawyer, everybody around me thinks I should be a lawyer. Yes, I'll adopt that goal. And maybe it's even his own goal. I'm not saying that it's only his father's goal, but let's say that's the goal then. And then, that's a 10 years process or whatever it is. And then 5 years down the line, he meets this wonderful girl who is an artist. She's an artist on stage doing some performance artist thing, and he gets sort of intrigued by that. And maybe I should try to do that thing, but no, I should be a lawyer, And then you get into, oh, I'll procrastinate reading the books. I'll just move my master in law a little bit further. I'll do it next year, because I'm sort of sidetracked by my interest over here. And then you get into bad conscience because I should have been a lawyer, and now it's like 3 years overtime. And what should my father say, and my whole family and everybody that thinks I should be a lawyer, including myself? And that is sort of a trap to end up in. You should be more fluent than that and say, okay, so I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I want to be a performance artist. Fuck the lawyer. Here I come, And 3 years down the line, you go, performance artist wasn't for me, but maybe I should be a vet, And all of that is okay, as long as you remember to enjoy the journey. If you enjoy all of this, then there isn't a problem.
Perfect. I think that's like, because now we've been talking for like 15 minutes, and I think that's quite a good wrap to enjoy the process. Yeah.
And now I'm truly enjoying this. And Catherine, this is I really hope you can do more of this, because this is something I can look forward to enjoying this every Friday.
Yeah, we are doing it every Friday, so you have to do that.
That's perfect.
I pitch into something. I think I was talking to Guide on the phone last week after. I think the next one should be specifically how to. There's two parts to this: how to help yourself when you're feeling down. Like Guy's got some really nice specific tips. Like everybody gets a little bit down. Some people get way down, and some people are like depressed. So specific tips how to pull yourself up is part one, and then part two is how to help somebody else that you know is down or leading towards a darker space. So there's two sets to that, and I think Guy's got some of the nicest, most beautiful but practical tips that I know of. So I also think that should be possibly the next session. But definitely open. Anybody can pitch in whatever they want as a session. Anybody that pitches in, could somebody talk about calculators? You'd be a friend for life of Guys. Definitely be a friend for life. Could we talk about HB calculators, please?
That would be fun. Now I have a couple of other things that I'm leaving this to Catherine, where whatever she wants to take up every Friday, it's up to her really. But I have a couple of other ideas as well. But thank you, Brendan, for those two. Those are good ones. But also how to raise kids. There is a huge area of how to really raise kids. At least I have some experience there. I've got 4 kids, and Brendan has 2 kids. So, and Catherine, you have some kids. So we can talk about this thing, how the failures and success in raising kids. That's a good one. And
yeah. I want to join in because the growth mindset is like something I'm really passionate about. So we have a lot of topics to do each Friday. So I think we will just start there and do one by one. And it seems like this will be something we do every Friday.
It will be, yes.
Harry, are you interested in doing a calculator with Guide?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I have so much to contribute because Geir is like the old man in calculators in Norway. He's.
I know, but would you be that?
Norway when it comes to calculators.
Would you be the perfect person to interview him?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That would be like a very small audience.
I had a comment regarding today's or this evening's topic. What I feel is maybe we are actually talking about the difference between goals and vision. Goals. A vision is more like what you said is having fun doing this game project or company. This is a vision, but then a goal is more like constrained and maybe very specific.
Yeah, that is actually a good point. I'll extrapolate even better, I think, because I think, yes, you're right. Goal is sort of there, and vision is more like there. And I would say values is even broader. So I think it's like values, which is like having fun or something. Vision is having fun this way or in this area or this type of fun. And goal is I'm going to reach that thing. And then an even more specific thing is a target. A target goes down to the actual number. The target is 53.7% of the people that does this service should be happy with it. That's a target. So goal could be making customers happy in this area, but the target is a specific actual number at a certain point in time. So you have values, vision, goal, target.
And what about getting things done lists? Is this like small goals today? I have like a list of 100 goals, and it's it's down to mundane tasks. Getting this done, cut the lawn, more like do the dishes. But then again, if you see this list of 100 tasks or goals, maybe not goals, but it's more like things, getting things done. Then you get kind of depressed. and I know that doesn't work for me at all, having this huge list. I need to have only 3, maybe at tops 4 goals or tasks one day. And then if I achieve 2, then I am happy.
And I believe that's right. You know, people overload themselves with expectations, and there is very, very few good business cases for expectations at all. I mean, if you look at it, why do you need expectations?
That's another evening. That's another evening.
That's another evening. Yeah. But anyway, you know, making it simpler, Harry, is definitely the way to go. Making 3 things on the to-do list, maybe you can do 2 of them, that makes you happy. Whatever, it boils down to whatever makes you happy. If 100 things on the list and you only make 90 and you have 10 left and shit, I didn't do those 10. If that makes you unhappy, then don't do 100. So I would say it boils down to whatever make your boat float.
I'd say you should make a program on your HP calculator to fix that problem.
I'm so glad you said that, because that was my first thought.
Harry, I think you should interview Guide on a calculator special. The worst thing about it is I know it's definitely the one that's going to go most viral if it gets published outside the.
Definitely not.
HP will just spread it across the whole company.
Or you can do like me. I just like hire myself to do the things that I don't like. So I have to okay, I have to do the laundry. So I hire myself to do the laundry, and then I reward myself that afterwards, like do the payment. If that's gaming or whatever, looking at the TV for whatever, then it works.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I think this is I think a good place to sort of wrap it up, as you said, Catherine. We got Brian involved, we got Harry involved. This is cool, and hopefully next week we will have even more people joining. We had Vinay last time, and then 2 people now, and let's see if we can grow this list with the audience as well.
That sounds perfect. So we will set the topic for next week, and then we will post it in the group. And
take a screenshot. Take a screenshot of this.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I take a screenshot of you.
You can do that. Perfect.
1 second. Screenshot, smile now. There we go. See you guys.
Perfect. See you guys.
Okay.
Again.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.